Evelyn, Roger, and Ziggy are a very awkward family. They have their own things that they decide to do independent of each other's thoughts. And they say, tell me when you finish saving the world, which is a new movie from A24, written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. Yes, the man who was in The Social Network makes his directorial debut. And it stars Julianne Moore. Once again, I would and you would too. Julianne Moore is a terrific actress who's had a lengthy career. And she plays Evelyn, who's a mother that's a social worker, helps out underprivileged families or families basically that are victims of abuse, and she homes them and takes care of them and makes sure that they are all right. She's trying to save the world in her own way. And then there's Ziggy who plays guitar. Yeah, I had to get that reference in. I imagine that was probably an intentional reference by Mr. Eisenberg. Finn Wolfhard, who is Richie from the It movies. Yeah, and actually he's not all that bad in this. I look forward to what he does later in his career. Billy Brick, it's Bryk. Pretty certain I probably got that wrong. So he plays Kyle, who's the son of an abused mother that Evelyn tries to help out. And also there's Lila Aisha, who basically is a girl that Ziggy really likes. And he's trying everything he can to prove that she should like him. Because Ziggy, Roger, and Evelyn are all narcissistic in their own way because they are socially awkward. They have their own things that they want to do. Roger has a job that basically is barely referenced. Evelyn has a job being a social worker, and Ziggy, who plays guitar for his people on a social media site where he gets money and then comes up with ideas on how to earn more money and basically just kind of coasts through life because he's playing a teenager. And also Roger is played by J.O. Sanders, who actually is a very good actor as well. So A24, you put A24's label on there, I will absolutely watch it. It's like a 90 to 95 great to, incredible like ratio compared to like the 5 to 10% of okay to holy shit. It's Monster. If you've seen the movie Monster, you'll get it. A24 usually bats near 1,000. This sort of falls kind of somewhere in the middle. I was really looking forward to this because I like Julianne Moore a lot, even when she's in movies that aren't all that good, like Sharper. She's usually quite good, and Julianne Moore is good here. And basically, it's a socially awkward dramedy with some good, pieces of dialogue and actually some pretty good performances. And while I understand what they were trying to go for here, I don't think that the tone exactly was even enough to make it one of A24's best. It's certainly not one of A24's worst, but this is one that I definitely can say that while I watch it, I will never watch it again. But I encourage people to check it out because it is very divisive. According to the critical, feedback and even the audience feedback, people are very divided. They either absolutely hate the characters, which kind of is a bit of the intention, or they, while hating the characters, they love the story. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle here. I like parts of it. There were other parts where I'm like, okay, this didn't really click to me. And also, it's a lot of stuff that we've all been, that's all been done. It's all been done before. So Finn Wolfhard is fine as Ziggy. He's kind of set in his own ways. So is Evelyn. They obviously have a lot of tension from when, like they feel just distant, even though they're a family, they love each other. Evelyn's distant from her own husband, but she's more distant from Ziggy, and it's a generational gap and all that stuff and everything, and teenagers can identify with that, parents can identify with that, trying to raise kids. And there are some good ideas to get raised here, but there's also quite a bit of stuff crammed in that doesn't really get explored, and characters are just introduced, I think, to advance the meager plot such as it is, and while the performances are well done, the movie also has a bit of an empty feeling to it. At least that's my personal opinion. There isn't a lot to spoil in this, because really you can see all of it coming. It's a nice study on how narcissism can eat people alive, and even though they may have the best intentions, sometimes they try to be a little bit too pushy, and that ends up causing a whole bunch of issues, and there you go. So that's when you finish saving the world. I will be getting into spoilers, but it's a few bucks on Amazon. It's worth renting just to check out if you actually like it. Jesse Eisenberg at least proves that while he's not a bad actor, he could be an at least somewhat competent director, and this is a little bit above competent, don't get me wrong. Julianne Moore definitely elevates up. Finn Wolfhard isn't that bad, same with J.O. Sanders, and even Alicia, I mispronounced that, Alicia Bowe, is pretty good as Lila. So, let's get into spoilers. So, there you go, that's your fair warning. We're going 3, we're going 2, we're going 1, and we're getting the spoilers now. Okay, so Evelyn is trying to help out a boy named Kyle and his mother Angie, and sees Kyle as somebody bright and very smart, and he helps fix stuff around there because around the social worker building that basically she can't get her son to participate in because he's all about money, all about building his brand, and also about getting his girl Lila to like him. Goes to poetry slams. Come on then, poetry slam. His song that he sings for that doesn't go all that well, and then he realizes, hey, wait a second, I heard this poem that that Lila did, so let me take that and let me turn it into a song. And he turns it into a song and then puts it on a social media site, and that ends up getting him money, where she gives him the idea of like, hey, use your platform actually to do something good with it, and you got some followers, you can make a difference. But then he uses it kind of for monetary gain and was like, well, hey, didn't you like me? Didn't you like what I did? Didn't you like what I did? Missing the whole point of what Lila was saying, not necessarily for just profit, but also to present a good message and be genuine, which Ziggy had a hard time doing. Evelyn also gets too pushy with Kyle, because Kyle wants to work in his dad's shop, even though his dad and his mother, had very, very awkward moments, like being, the mother being abused and everything, but he wants to do this stuff because he's a bright, smart kid that also is very good at fixing cars. He wants to earn some good money to help his mother out. That comes to a head with Evelyn and Kyle kind of having it out, so to speak, because Evelyn has an argument with Ziggy and then has a pseudo argument with Kyle because she feels that she was too pushy. She was sorry after talking to the mother. And it's a bit uneven and a bit awkward. And the awkwardness at times works, and then the awkwardness at times almost feels like a crutch. And it works to an extent, but doesn't always work. And J.O. Sanders really just kind of feels like he's just there in the background. He has a few good scenes. Like one point where he says, oh, nobody was there when I got presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award. I'll get another one. Don't worry about it. So anyway, and also I do want to say that Finn Wolfhard, maybe the idea is that he's not a good singer. And trust me, I know about not being a good singer. That's why I do incredibly bad song intros for some of these reviews. And I almost think they left him out there twisting the wind. I mean, he's not the worst I've heard, but maybe the idea was he was just supposed to be kind of awkward and weird and whatever. And eventually it comes to pass that the mother and son kind of have a bit of a bond because she listens to some of his stuff and watches some of his vlogs and realizes, hey, he actually can do some good stuff. And this is after Ziggy and Lila also had it out where Lila's like, no, you just missed the whole goddamn point. You can't make somebody like you is basically the whole deal. You have to be genuine. If you're not genuine, people are eventually going to see that. So overall, while I can't say that the movie's all that great, I can say that the movie gets a B because it has good performances and some pretty good dialogue pieces, but it's not one of A24's best. So those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.